logistics behind it, but just like
right.
you know, so
but
you can
basically, when it comes down to it with like Mopar, right?
Yeah.
A 383 is just a stroke 360.
Yeah.
Right. That's all. That's the only difference. So we can actually take the 360 that's in his, put a stroker kit on it.
Yeah.
And boom, there you go. You got a 383.
Yeah. Well, let's even like say if you like look at the LS motors, you know, it's a long short motor. So if you take your oil pan off, how like on the small block Chevys, the crank stuck out the bottom of the block.
The LSs didn't. No, they had this
it's
foot
flat.
lock deal, right? Didn't they?
The crank sits up in it, and then your caps actually. So like, if you take your oil pan off the bottom, your block's flat.
Yep.
The crank sits down in it.
That's why you can put them really fucking shallow oil pans.
Yeah, and the caps they slide down between your crank and the block.
Yep.
It's
kind of like that.
Skirt or whatever.
Kind of like the.
Whereas if you look at some of the big block Mopar engines, I don't remember which ones. I said I'm not up on that. But if you look at some of their big block motors, they had that same thing. They didn't have the crank where it stuck out of the block and the cap stuck off. They had it where it was in the block.
In the block.
So you could take your oil pan off and set it flat on the motor, and you're not touching your crank.
Right.
You're sitting right on.
You're sitting right on the fucking.
Yeah,
on
right
the
on the gasket surface. So it's. Yeah, and I don't know, it's something like the big block versus small block. It's something to do with the orientation of the block. How they, it's like I said, take out a 396, that's a big block. 400 is a small block.
Yep.
But you can also have, you know, depending on stroke and bore size,
but
you can have
stroke
up to
a 396, can't you?
Yeah, well, you can bore and stroke any of them, I'm sure. But.
Well, because that's what he wants to do with that other motor that he's pulling out of that 3/4 ton.
Right. Yeah.
He wants to have that all done. He wants to have that. That's the motor that he wants to build.
Oh, yeah, that one that's
right.
Like shed there?
Yeah,
okay.
That's the one that he wants to build. So he wants to do the crank, the rods, the pistons, boring it, stroking it, the whole fucking works.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And then have head work done and all that shit because we can't get a cam.
Right.
For this motor right now.
Right, yeah.
It's like
cam
3 months fucking back order right now.
Cam cores have been a problem for quite a while.
So we even called like the manufacturers directly for you know, high performance cams for Mopar engines. These guys specialize in Mopar engines and they're like, nope, 360 can't get it. Sorry. Anything else, we'll get it for you tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
But 360's on back order for the next 3 months, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
You know, why?
Yeah. And it could even be something as simple as like that same cam core could be used for other engines too. And it's like if there's a lot of aftermarket purchases for said cam core,
right?
And that puts a shortage on that.
Right.
You know, kind of like LS cam bearings. Good luck finding those.
Oh, I know.
You try and find one for like that 5.3 that's in at home, you're basically striking gold if you find a set.
Well, see, I found that one online the other day for him, and I sent it to him. But he doesn't want it because it's made by Melling.
Oh. Well.
And he's got an issue with Melling, I guess. So whatever, it is what it is. But it was made by Melling, but it's basically the same cam that we were trying to get through Jegs for this motor.
Okay.
So same cam, same lifters, and then it also came with the springs. And the guy's like, "Yeah, I bought it for this project." He says, "I ended up going a different direction. I'm going to do something else." Like, blah, 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 whatever.
Sure.
I got $500 into it. It's been sitting on my shelf for 2 months. I want $300 for it. It's like, well, just buy the damn thing for $300. Who cares if it's built by fucking Melling?
No.
Right?
I'll take a Melling over a comp cam.
Well, right. I'll take a crane cam over a comp cam, you know. But again, same thing. You can't get 360, even like crane cams, you can't get 360 parts for it.
Okay.
It's just so hard to buy parts for that motor right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be too. It's like either they're good engines that a lot of people do aftermarket stuff with, so that could be why they're hard to get parts, or it's an engine that not a lot of people do aftermarket stuff for, so they don't offer a lot. Kind of like that 8.1 that came in these things.
Oh my God.
There's not a lot of aftermarket stuff for them, just because it's not really.
Well, it's like the 7.3s right now.
Yeah.
Right? You can't get parts for the 7.3s. I mean, not unless you're going aftermarket shit. You know, it's like super aftermarket shit. Like guy, some guy fabbed his shit up in his garage, and he's like, "Hey, it works."
Yeah.
You know.
I'll leave, man.
So, like, I can get the parts for the turbo for mine, so that I can go from that 63 to that 71 millimeter turbo.
Yeah.
I can get the parts for that. But then I've been looking at this other deal because you've heard of the term HPOP, right?
Oh yeah.
The high pressure oil pump deal.
Yep.
So my truck has that.
Problems when it goes up.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Right, my truck has the HPOP in it,
Right.
and it's on its third pump.
Oh, might get costly to keep doing that.
Well, I've only put one in.
Okay.
The previous owners put one in. Right? So the previous owners had one put in, and what happens with those is because they have to take that, 40, 50 pounds of oil pressure from the pump,
Right.
From the pump in the pan. So it's like 40 or 50 pounds of oil pressure that they have to take, and then they run it up through that HPOP, and then they turn it up, right?
Okay.
It increases the oil pressure up to 3,000 PSI.
Right. Doesn't that run the injectors?
Yeah, it runs all
stuff?
the injectors, because none of the injectors are ran electronically. They're all ran by oil
Right.
pressure. Right? So that HPOP increases your oil pressure from 40, 50, 60 pounds, whatever it is, up to 3,000 PSI. And then it makes your injectors open and close.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
Well, what happens with those HPOPs is the gears inside of them, because of that oil pressure, creates so much pressure that it actually wears on the inside of the housing.
Nice.
And then it'll actually do like what these transmissions do,
Right.
where they rub through the housing.
Sweet. Sweet.
So that's why mine, with 300 and some thousand miles on it, is on its third HPOP already.
290. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of that stuff, it was probably a good idea when it was made. They weren't, some of that stuff they probably weren't thinking ahead going, oh, well, when this truck's got 300,000 miles on it.
Well, that, and I don't think they were expecting a lot of those trucks to get 300,000 miles either, right? Like when they manufactured them, when they designed them, they're like, these things are going to go 150, 200,000, and that's it, right?
People put 100,000 and trade them in on something new.
Right.
Planned obsolescence, they call that. They want it to take a chip.
Well, that's like, Amanda's car.
Mm-hmm.
They consider that a throwaway car.
Oh, yeah.
You're not supposed to fix that.
No.
That's why they make the parts so damn hard to get.
Yep. When they take a crap, they just throw it away and buy another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how like them Grand Ams and a lot of them little, Sunfires and all
the Saturns were like that. The Saturns were really big for that.
All them little cheap cars. It's like, you go to that place and you find another one for $1,500 and run that for 2 years.
Right. Exactly.
Well, today's market's probably like 15,000.
Yeah, it's got 170,000 miles on it, and I know what I got. I want $15,000 for it.
I'll give you a steal on it. $26K. She's barely broke in.
Yeah, she's blowing oil out the tailpipe. She's good to go.
That just means it's working. Oh my god.
What's that saying? If it's got oil under it, it's got oil in it.
Right. It's when there's nothing dripping you start to worry. Time to check her again.
Yep. Right.
You just change the filter once in a while because the oil self-changes.
Exactly.
Oh,
You never have to worry about it.
Yikes.
Oh. So yeah.
Yeah, these are those tires that I got.
Oh, they're nice.
These are the AT4s. They just came out like...
Yeah, because you said they quit making AT3s or
whatever? Yeah, they discontinued the AT3s like end of January. And then like second or third week of...
But they're good tires. They don't...
No, they're great.
Like road noise is pretty good.
Oh, dude, they're super quiet. Them other tires that were on here, they must have been just getting so wore that they were starting to get hard. I mean, it sounded like you were driving on bad wheel bearings. I mean, it was loud. I left the shop the other day with this thing and buttery smooth. It rides nice again. It's quiet. I mean, you still hear the little noise underneath from the transfer case, but it doesn't sound like you're driving on rims anymore.
And they're low range E, so that means pulling your camper is going to be nice, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a little pricey. $1,249 out the door, but...
Well, that's mounted, balanced.
Yeah, mounted, balanced, disposal of the old tires.
Disposal of the old tire.
You know, so I mean,
They
it's,
put new valve stems in right away. Too.
I honestly don't know if they did. They might have. I didn't even look.
I would hope that they would have.
But you know, I'm glad I waited a little longer though, because I could have got the AT3s.
Yeah, but then you would have had that problem where if something went wrong with them, you would have been able to get them taken care of.
Yep. Yeah, I had a problem like that when I had those Coopers on here. Just after I got them, I think maybe like after about 10,000 miles, one of them developed a big egg in the side of it. It must have been separated or something. So I took it back over there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah." They warranted it and put a new tire on it and stuff, you know. Which, all right, fine. They never had a problem after that. Now, if I had a problem with the AT3s, they're like,
Oh, you're as well. Sorry.
yeah, you can probably buy another one, but they're not going to warranty it. You got to
Right.
pay full price for another one because it's a discontinued tire now.
Right.
And the only way you're getting a new one is if they still have some.
Right.
So it's like, you know, they won't buy back the bad one. It's like, you know, or if they don't have any, now you got mixed match tires.
Right.
And
mismatched tires on a 4-wheel drive truck
yeah,
is not a good idea.
on my S10, I don't care. Nothing matches on there, but I love spending that kind of money on tires that won't match.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I'm glad I waited. They're definitely nice tires. I can actually take off in the snow with them now too.
Oh, that's good.
The other ones, dude, they were so bald. It's like you back up in the driveway, put it in drive, just take your foot off the brake. Like, not even moving. Put it in four-wheel drive just to get out of my parking spot. Yeah, you can actually put it in gear and go now. Yeah, definitely glad I waited though.
That's good.
So that's the big expense on it, I guess. For now.
Right.
For now. Yeah, it's a 22-year-old truck, I guess. What do you expect?
No, there's not a whole lot you can